Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. Today I want to do a recap of the USCCB meeting for November 2021. And I do want to say that when I watch these videos, I don't watch the whole thing. I watch the bishops' speeches or their reactions um, to the comments. And it's really for my time limits. I could watch the whole thing, but I, I guess I could. I mean, maybe if I didn't want to sleep or if I didn't want to um, say my rosary or whatever. But anyway, I I just kind of filter through everything and I post the video clips on my channel. Now this USCCB meeting was very interesting, and we'll get to that right now. So Monday there was a closed door private meeting. It was before any of the um, public discussion was broadcast. That was on Monday. Everything was shut off to everyone besides anyone except the bishops. So what discussion took place? And it we don't we have no idea. But there was an interesting situation, and this is from a Catholic mom blog, which I've linked below. She said, "Where was Supich?" She said, "Am I the only one who noticed that Cardinal Supich is the new Gavin Newsom? Not one peep from him this entire week. No liberal media quotes, no whiny tweets. What is going on?" And the Pillar reported this: Cardinal Supich, a driving force among the bishops who had opposed the Eucharist document, was not present for Wednesday's debate or the vote to adopt the text. He reportedly flew to Rome Tuesday night. That might have nothing to do with the bishop's document, but in Baltimore, more than a few bishops have asked the question, will there be one more round in this particular fight? So, why did Cardinal Supich skip out early? Usually he's there so that he can dissent from anything that has to do with anything that seems remotely Catholic. He's usually there to speak his mind in terms of opposition to the Catholic faith. And he cut out early. He cut out a whole day early. Why? And that's definitely a good question. So maybe that indicates the discussion on Monday was productive for Supich in the Vatican, because certainly Supich is more or less a spokesperson for the Vatican, the Francis Pontificate. And yeah, I mean, that's very interesting. So moving to the actual public broadcast, there was a decent bit of that. The first day was Tuesday that we were able to watch publicly what the bishops had to say. And there were the elections, the USCCB committee elections. And so I'm going to go over that just very quickly. Bishop James Cecchio of Metuchen, New Jersey, was declared the new treasurer. Bishop Earl Boyer of Lansing, Michigan, was elected chairman of the Committee on Clergy, Consecrated Life, and Vocations. I think he seems to be a pretty solid bishop. He's friendly towards the Latin Mass, and he stands on the right side of the Catholic issues. Unfortunately, not all bishops do. Bishop Stephen Lopes. This is an interesting one. He is the chairman elect of the Committee on Divine Worship that has to do with the liturgy. He is of the ordinariate of the chair of St. Peter, which is the Anglican ordinariate. Now, I was actually optimistic about this, but then it was pointed out to me that he shut down, was it Father Von Treco, who gave a sermon questioning the effectiveness of Vatican II, and he was excommunicated, I believe, by Bishop Lopes. And so, I don't know. Bishop Lopes, I don't believe he is originally from the Anglican Ordinariate. I think he was from the Roman Rite, the Novus Ordo, and he was just appointed as a bishop over this ordinariate of the chair of St. Peter. And so I don't know how much how much impact the good liturgy will have on anything. Because obviously the Anglican Ordinariate certainly would appear to be superior to the Novus Ordo. And okay, and then Archbishop Boris Gudziak of the Ukrainian Catholic Archeparchy of Philadelphia was elected as the chairman of the Committee on Domestic Justice and Human Development. I don't know anything about him, and I didn't do any research on him, so I can't say that. Here's a big one, and Taylor Marshall actually had a video on this. Bishop Barron was elected as the chairman of the Committee on Laity, Marriage, Family Life, and Youth. And so Bishop Barron, his youth ministry, Word on Fire is going to be taking over youth ministry at a Novus Ordo parish near you. Word on Fire is also going to be taking over marriage prep, RCIA, I think. I mean, maybe not RCIA, I don't know. Maybe he already took over RCIA. But Bishop Barron is going to have an impact on that department. Now, how big of an impact will it be? No idea. And that's the case for everything. And finally, Bishop Seitz, and this I'll get to this at the end, but Bishop Seitz of El Paso is the new chairman-elect of the Committee on Migration. Bishop Seitz gave a speech where he said that the rite of benediction, the divine praises should be eliminated from the rite of benediction. I mean, I cracked up. I thought it was hilarious. Let's change everything in the church. You know, why not? Because we can. So yeah, and that's what he talks about is immigration. Does he talk about the Catholic faith? All I ever see him is quoted as talking about immigration. So I don't know. I mean, he is a Catholic bishop, isn't he? So these elections, how much are they going to impact anything? I don't know. Probably not a whole lot. Bishop Barron, it could have an impact. You could see Word on Fire videos at youth groups. And I don't know, would that be a positive thing? Some people say they converted to the Catholic faith initially because of Bishop Barron. I don't know. Certainly, there's a reasonable hope that the areas of marriage, family life, and youth will improve in the church, but it'll be Novus Ordo theology still. And they also had pre-recorded speeches by Archbishop Scicluna of Malta and synodality guru Cardinal Gretsch, we'll get to later. But Archbishop Scicluna, I didn't even watch any of that because I remember him and Cardinal Supich were in charge of that abuse summit, I believe, in early 2020. And it was the abuse of minors. Talk nothing about seminarians. And they were even asked the question, they're like, oh no, this doesn't deal anything with adults, just minors. Oh really? Don't you think you'd want to include everyone? All are welcome, right? No, we're only talking about a certain group of people that we could get legally in trouble for. So Scicluna, he's favored by Pope Francis, and so that just says a lot. And so the next day, now I believe this was it the first day or the second? I think let's move on to the second day. I'm not sure when the Eucharistic document was voted on, the document on the Eucharist that was so controversial, but it passed 222 votes to 8. What does that say about the document? That there is an overwhelming consensus? It says that the document has nothing of value. That's what it says to me, because remember, there were at least, were there 40 or 50 bishops that signed that Cardinal Supich document, Cardinal Supich and Gregory, trying to undermine they signed a letter trying to undermine this Eucharistic document and saying that we shouldn't talk about it at all, and we shouldn't politicize the Eucharist. Well, guess what? It didn't happen anyway. It wasn't politicized. There was nothing. Was there anything of value in the document? I would say not if you have the votes of 222 bishops, because I can tell you there's, and the opposition of only 8 bishops, there's more than 8 bad bishops in the USCCB. And Um, you know, that's what it says about the statistics. So this didn't actually have a lot of discussion. And I thought it might have a little bit of discussion, especially some people speaking out strongly in favor of the Catholic faith. But Bishop Strickland had a good speech, and that was about it. Bishop Strickland, he said something along the lines of, you may think, now many of you may think, oh, here we go again, Bishop Strickland talking about abortion. He said, but I can't remain silent as too many in our nation vigorously promote abortion. And so that's a good speech. I have the video clip of it on my channel. Check it out. It's a short speech, and he definitely put some thought into it. And he received applause at the end. I thought that was pretty interesting because most bishops, they just kind of speak and then move on. But it shows it demonstrated to me that some of the bishops support Strickland. Strickland seems to be a leader in the pro-life initiative at the USCCB. Now, he's not a powerful bishop. He doesn't have a lot of influence. He has more influence than I think Supich or Tobin or any of the bad bishops would like to think, because he can, at this point, it's not like the old days. We have the internet now, and any bishop can get online, any priest can get online and say really whatever they want. Now, I mean, someone like Father Altman was, suspended by his bishop, but Bishop Strickland, he can go on and talk about pro-life, and he has a big platform because when bishops speak out strongly in favor of any cause, I mean, whether it be good or bad, they get a big platform, and Strickland is no exception. But getting back to this document on the Eucharist, it's so watered down that it passed overwhelmingly. And we're 1 year removed from the 2020 election, presidential election, and now there is some bill that was passed that I don't know if it expands abortion or whatever. I don't really pay attention much to politics, but the bishops seem to be like very concerned about it. Well, guess what? The time to be concerned was 1.5 years ago. You could have been talking about all this stuff, and we can't even agree that pro-abortion politicians should be banned from receiving communion. But not even that. Joe Biden officiated an LMNOP wedding that would surely disqualify him from receiving communion. We talk about the virtue of charity. It's only charitable to deny him communion when he's publicly in mortal sin in multiple public mortal sins. So if the bishops can't even just a few bishops, if even a few bishops can't speak out against the pro-abortion politicians receiving communion, then we have a major crisis of faith that goes beyond the Eucharist. I mean, what does that say? I can't remain silent. So what they did was they decided on a Eucharistic Congress, because we're going to have a Eucharistic revival, and I should get Brett the Fog on here to talk about that, because he's got some good thoughts on that, and he does the Protestant pastor impersonation really well. So maybe we'll think about that in the future. I'll talk to him about that. But one bishop expressed, this is from the Catholic World Report, one bishop expressed concerns about the $28 million projected cost of a national Eucharistic Congress slated to be held in Indianapolis in July 2024. No bishops, however, proposed that their 2 yearly assemblies might be scaled back to help fund the initiative. Because it's at a hotel. Last time I checked, it was $300 a night for a room. And so that would discourage me from going there and trying to get any interviews or anything. But so there's going to be a Eucharistic Congress held in Indianapolis in July 2024. There's also going to be an election in November of 2024. a presidential election. And I don't know, what are they going to do? Like, what are these bishops going to talk about? They're just going to say, oh, well, Vatican II says this, because guess what? That's not working. You've been trying that for the last 50 years, and it's not working. And, all right, so that's enough on the Eucharist. Hey, if any of you have any thoughts, let me know in the comments. But I think a Latin Mass revival would be a good idea. And, if you're looking at the Eucharist, I think that would be a great idea. And later, and I guess the last part I wanted to discuss was that on Wednesday the bishops discussed synodality. Now, synodality guru Cardinal Gretsch gave a speech, a pre-recorded speech. I didn't listen to it. Did listen to the bishop's speeches, and they were completely meaningless. I mean, I think there was one bishop who said we should, ask the interfaith groups about it. Yeah, that's the whole point. It's not to do anything Catholic. It's to make the Catholic faith non-Catholic. That's the whole point of synodality. But it's all the other speeches went like this. I think synodality is so great. We're all walking together and we're listening to people of various walks of life, and it's diversity and accompaniment and all these buzzwords that I completely hate, and just the speeches were so pointless that it would probably be more worth your time to watch grass grow. Like, I can't think of a better way to waste your time than watch speeches about synodality, because synodality means nothing. It means completely nothing. All it is a distraction for Pope Francis to change the church, maybe communion for Protestants. I don't know, but it's just this invented word by the Francis Church that they use whenever they want to do these heretical interfaith activities. And that's what synodality is. Anyway, I want to direct you to Father Mark Goring's video about synodality, and it's linked in the description below. It's something about Latin Mass Catholics, but he said, look, if you are a Catholic who attends the Latin Mass and you really like the Latin Mass, write a very short letter to your bishop and encourage your friends to write their own letters as well. Very short, like 3 sentences, just saying, I really like the Latin Mass. I'm writing on behalf of this synod, this diocesan synod, and as a bishop, you're supposed to listen. You're supposed to listen to the thoughts of the lay people in this diocese, and I really like the Latin Mass, and it is really deep in my faith. That's a very short letter to the bishop. Watch his video to see what he proposes. I think if we get everyone to do this, I don't know how much of an impact it will have. It definitely won't have an impact at the Vatican level, probably not at the USCCB level, but it has a pretty good chance to have an impact at the diocesan level. And if the bishop gets your name, maybe he'll write to you, maybe he'll contact you. Put your email in there, maybe, so that the bishop could potentially contact you. If the bishop is a good bishop, maybe that would be a consideration, and you might have some minor level of influence on what happens in the diocese. So Father Mark Goring's suggestion was a very good one, I thought. And I mean, like I said, this USCCB meeting was different than the meetings have been in the past, just because Supich didn't talk. There weren't a lot of speeches by the bishops. There weren't a lot of comments. That's whenever we had the McCarrick scandal, a lot of bishops commented on it, and a lot of them had nothing to say. They just kind of said, oh, well, I was so upset about this, and the people in my diocese are so upset. Okay, thanks. And then Cardinal Supich at the beginning, of that 2018 November USCCB meeting, stood up and he, without being asked, and he said, "Oh, Pope Francis told me that," or no, he didn't say that, but Pope Francis did tell him. He said, "Oh, Pope Francis said to wait uh, for until for like several more months until we come up with a resolution for this." Well, the bishops they had told all their people in their dioceses that they were going to meet and come up with a resolution at that meeting, and it was undermined by Cardinal Cupich in the Vatican. And Cardinal Cupich wasn't even present for the recorded speeches. But what went on at the unrecorded session? A full day's worth of discussion, where the Catholic bishops, I don't want to use the word threatened, but was there very stern talk directed towards the Catholic bishops? Like, did Cardinal Cupich and Tobin try to bully them and say, "Hey, Pope Francis doesn't want you to deny communion to pro-abortion politicians. Don't talk about it," for the sense of unity? And that's one thing, is that obedience and unity, these are like ideas that are very, very misinterpreted. Unity is unity with Christ. Do you want to be united with Christ, or do you want to be united with bishops who are part of the McCarrick network? That's your options. And obedience. Or do you want to be so if I work for a company and my boss tells me to do something, and the CEO tells me to do something completely the opposite thing, who do I go with? I go with the CEO. Well, the CEO of our Catholic Church, Jesus. And so if the words of Pope Francis contradict the words of Jesus, who do you go with? Who's what level of obedience? Who do you follow under obedience? It's really not a hard question. Those questions are really not hard questions to answer. And these bishops right now render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. And right now, Caesar's rendering on to the U.S. bishops what the U.S. bishops have sought and lobbied for. And that's why we saw a lot of immigration discussion. We saw Catholic Legal Immigration Network, a representative from Clinic spoke again. And that organization was funded by George Soros. I did the research, and I believe it was either 2017 or 2018 they received Soros money. And a lot of bishops are on their board of directors. And Catholic Campaign for Human Development. Ralph McLeod is the CEO of Catholic Campaign for Human Development. He supported radical pro-abortion Wendy Davis. You remember her from Texas? How she tried to filibuster an abortion law. Yeah, he worked for her, and he's the chairperson, the chairman of the Catholic Campaign for Human Development. I believe is he the president? I don't know what his title is, but he is the top guy for the Catholic Campaign for Human Development. Someone who worked for a pro-abortion Democrat. So when are these bishops going to wake up and realize that what they're doing is not Catholic? And as long as the immigration money continues to come in from the government, we can expect the bishops to largely remain silent on these issues. And I'm not talking about every single bishop. There are someone like Strickland. He speaks out in favor of pro-life, but a lot of them, as a group, most of them remain silent on these issues, or they just give tentative affirmations to certain issues. But if they took a serious stance on traditional marriage, opposed LMNOP, they're going to lose that funding from the government. And they're probably going to lose a few more people. I mean, most of them probably don't attend Mass anymore. And but I think, by and large, okay, question for R&R. Does anyone know what percentage of the bishop... Oh, okay. Does anyone know what percentage of the government programs and what percent comes from the laity? Is insignificant. I actually have videos on it. Research do a search on my channel for like financial statements, because I post a lot of videos on this RR. I believe their immigration revenue from the U.S. government was over 50 million last year for the USCCB. It was under Obama, it was up to like 78, maybe even 80 million. And then under Trump, it declined to 48 million. And so they had a very urgent message in favor of immigration, and that it's a possibility that's why they didn't speak on. That's why they didn't speak out in favor of pro-life during this past election, this past presidential election. And that's a very concerning element. And I could probably do more videos on that if there's interest. But the problem with financial videos where I talk about financial statements is it seems like very few people are interested. Those videos don't get a lot of views, even though that's like my expertise, my specialty. I can I can talk all I want about other stuff. Um, I know they have endowments too that generate passive income and can be dipped into, so it's hard to untangle. Well, but yeah, but I'm talking about straight government revenue for the year. I'm not even talking about any endowments or anything like that. The rest of that stuff in the financial statements, it's impossible to find in some cases. Now, I will say that let's see, your Catholic Relief Services, I believe, I think half of their revenue comes from government funding, and so I think that they do a lot of immigration work because of the government grants. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's close. And then Catholic Charities, so each diocese has like its sort of branch of Catholic Charities. And my personal research, I found that in 2018 they received, that I could confirm personally, they received $1.5 billion from the United States government. Now, that's not counting, I think, dioceses. I couldn't find financial statements for their Catholic Charities branches. And that could be double. It could be 3 billion. I don't know. I can guarantee you that it's 1.5, that it's at least 1.5 billion that these Catholic charities receive from the government based on my own personal research. And yeah, a lot of problem comes from Bush's faith-based initiatives. Yeah, I mean that's what someone else was telling me too. So it's crazy. Like they receive, if the U.S. government decided to shut them down, decided to shut down their government grants, Catholic charities would completely fold. The USCCB would have to lay off a whole bunch of people. It would be very bad. But the problem, the thing is, like, are you gonna turn down government funding? And I'm not even talking about the government loans that were received this past year and a half, because most dioceses, most Catholic organizations receive that government money, the Paycheck Protection Program money. The Catholic people in the U.S. are joining the Synod of Bishops. No. Yeah, the Catholic people in the United States aren't invited in most cases to the Synod. It's the people that aren't Catholic that are invited because they don't want to hear from the Catholics. They want to hear from the non-Catholics who have no interest in joining the Catholic faith. And that's what this whole thing is about. And we're in a situation where we'll see if the bishops listen to us, we'll see if they don't. But yeah, the Synod is a worldwide thing that consults the laity. It's very weird. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is, but they don't want to. They don't want to hear what we have to say unless we have opinions contradictory to the Catholic faith. But they're not going to hear that from us. We're going to speak out, and we're going to continue to speak out because we are the laity, and we will not be silent.